So this is about, I'd say, a 3 or 4 part dream.
Mm.
That so first it happened while I was sleeping at home. Then I got up, went to work, slept in my car until the shift started, and had another dream, and then slept on my break and had another dream then. And these all seemed to tie together, even though they were hours apart. So
Okay.
the first one was uh, actually related to work. I'm at work in my usual parking space, and this felt like it was real life, honestly, because nothing was different here except except maybe, the light in the sky. It was darker than it usually is at that time. But and so the time was maybe say 4 a.m. or so, 4:30, and I'm standing in the road that because we park off to the side of this little road that goes in through the facility, and there's cars parked directly across from me, and I look forward. I look north towards the main building, and a car screeches off the lot, and it just disappears, behind me. I don't look behind me at all. And as I walk towards the building, I see a bunch of my coworkers, and apparently one of the cars, a couple of their cars were stolen, but only mine was left alone. Everybody else's car just disappeared, except for, the one parked right next to me, I'd say. And mine, of course. And here's where I lose track. I can only jump forward in this dream because I can't remember much right now. But so we're on an airplane tarmac road. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not very busy at all. There's no planes going about. There's no other people driving around inside the airport. And as we're in the road, for some reason, there's this young woman from India bothering me for some reason, and she lays down on the floor all of a sudden and has a leg cramp. And obviously, I remember how through sports how to get over leg cramps, right? I'm not going to explain the whole method, but I'm messing with her leg to try and relieve the cramp. And as I finish up with that, I take a small step over to my left, and her leg comes off and starts to, scoot across the floor towards me, like like it's what was it? Like the hand that was in the Addams Family or the Munsters? I can't remember.
Yeah, Thing in Adam's Family. Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
But I'm not shocked at all by this, even though it's out of the ordinary. And then that's when I wake up, and then we continue off to when I fall asleep again at work. So
Okay.
that starts, even though the setting completely changed, all the people in the previous dream were there again, except my coworkers. Except for a few different coworkers, And we were sort of in this weird, in like my old math teacher's house, and but it was it was set up different, completely different than it usually is, in real life. It had, it was like this sort of treehouse type of deal instead, but the whole setup was still the same. It's just it had no roof, and the upstairs was connected by little, sky bridges or whatever you want to call them. And as I'm in the living room, I'm we take in these two cats. One's an orange cat, and another one's a white and black cat. And these cats are just impossibly adorable. And as I'm playing with them, my mom doesn't like them at all because allergies and whatever else. And all of a sudden, I can't remember what happened, but those two cats had kittens, and they looked kind of the same, but a mix of both their colors, right? And as I was playing with them, and these these kittens were extremely affectionate, and I was bringing them wherever with me. And suddenly, as we were walking around the house, and I was taking them with me, I go upstairs into this room that looked sort of like a, Pirates of the Caribbean themed restaurant bar without a roof. It had barrels and fishing nets and whatnot in it. And I look around, and all the cats are gone. And I'm wondering, where did these cats go? Where did they go? And I'm freaking out because I just lost cats. My basically they weren't my cats, but I considered them my cats. And then that's where that dream ended. And then I go to work, and then I go back to my truck and fall asleep during my break. And then it continues from there. Even though it's not really at all, it's still in this dream. It felt like, hey, this is a connection of the previous dream. I don't know how, but I was at work in the hallway, and the main building is sort of shaped like an H inside, even though it's a square, on the outside, but it's shaped like an H inside. So to my left is the office. I'm in the main hallway, and to my right is this room. In real life, to the right. So actually, first off, I'm standing in the hallway to the right side in the hallway, and I'm standing in front of the time clock. And to my right, where in real life would normally be the break room, instead it's this sort of weird tiled room that looks like a butcher's shop. And there's this big, burly guy standing there with a black apron and black gloves and, rubber boots on. And he's he has a cow hanging from a meat hook. A dead cow, obviously. And he's cutting up the cow like that. And in front of him is also a steel non-porous table. And that room has orange tinged lights in it. So it gives off this weird vibe to it. And as I'm watching him do that, he's done with the cow, and suddenly he pulls forward this dead body, and it's this this dead man. This dead man was like he looked like the stereotypical hairy Greek man, but he was dead, obviously. And the dead guy was like 200 something pounds. He had a large stomach. I mean, he didn't really seem like it was bloated from decomposition. It was just the body itself was like that normally. And so he pulls his body forward, and he's about to start chopping it up, starting with the thighs and legs. And for some reason, I'm just watching him. I'm not surprised at all. But the first question I asked the guy, the butcher, was weirdly, how big was his penis? And then he calmly responds back to me, 6 inches. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that was a completely normal question to ask. And that's where that dream ends, abruptly.